Alright, I just want to come on here and chat about what happened in Game Week 244 on Sorare, some of the problems with it, and how I think we can improve the platform going forward to, minimise this happening again. So, if you don't know what happened, basically the scores were insanely high to win prizes, and to top divisions you had to be basically perfect. Why is this an issue? Is it just something we need to ignore and move on with? Shit happens kind of thing. No, I wouldn't say so. Why I think that is that to be a new user, or to be any user using this game, to have such an outrageously impossible score to hit every week is really disincentivizing. People won't want to come on and try and hit that 1 in 1,000 chance to try and get a little reward or a big reward. You need to keep people engaged all the time with these sort of fantasy football games. And before we go any further, I just want to say, this isn't me coming and complaining, going, "Oh, I just missed out on a prize with a big score. Here's my under 23s team. Donnarumma didn't play. Upamecano got a 12. I have absolutely no, bias towards this game week at all. It's the same as any other one for me. Wasn't close to the prizes. Don't really care too much. It's like a personal interest. And then you see the winner of the division, Snigey here, got 530 points basically from 5 cards. So we basically he needed, it was almost impossible to beat him. I mean, a couple of people gave it a good go, but let's look at these scores he got. So bottom team here, is it? Yeah. So Bijlo got a 78. So first you have to get a clean sheet, then you have to get a load of saves, and on top of that you need to do all the rest. From there you got Timber Martinez, who got 91 and 100. He had to captain his best performing player, which if you've played Sorare, it's hard enough. So you had to captain the 100 with good XP multiplier. And then Kikuchi got 100 and Wirtz got a 97. The game's out of 100. There's not much more you can do than that. A goalkeeper to get 100 is a 1 in 1,000 probability. It's very, very unlikely. It's probably more, to be honest. So, from playing the game, this is as close to we've seen as a perfect score as you can get. And, why has that happened? Why is everything so hard to win right now, basically? The first thing to say is that we've been in a mini boom for a couple of months now, where we're just getting new users all the time. So you can see on this graph, as time goes on, we're up to, what is that, 95,000 people with 1 card or more. That is substantial. You're not going to recognise it overnight because it's not, a vertical line upwards. But, the more people on the game, there's a fixed supply of rewards, there's a fixed supply of cards to buy, you're going to notice card prices go up, and the amount needed to win rewards also, slowly creep up. And then, why is this week in particular such an issue? Basically, I'm just using the under 23s division as kind of the go-to, the explanation. The reason for that is that it's the most kind of pinpoint of this example, is that I think it's the highest score in the limited division. And also this is happening across the rare division as well. It's just because I know more about the limited division, so I felt more comfortable speaking about it. But basically what happened is that all of your most popular players have hit. So someone like Bijlo or Kikuchi, Florian Wirtz, Gakpo, Van der Voort, they're all your kind of common names you're always going to see in under 23s. So, firstly, they're consistent good scorers. A lot of them started off cheaper, so, people piled into them when they're cheap. They've rode this wave all the way up. So, these scorers are being used a lot. And then also, there's no other place you're going to put them. So obviously you have the choice between Global All-Stars, Under 23, and the region they play in, either Challenger or Champion in most of these cases. And you're not going to put them anywhere else because Under 23 is the best paying division. You have Haaland and Mbappe at the top of the division. And then at the bottom of the divisions, you have absolute rotters like you do in every tier 3 pool. But the difference with this tier 3 pool is you've got, a minimum of 7 years of their playing career left, a minimum. So yeah, that is if you played the game, this is where all the best cards go. But what that means is you're going to have to be smart about your selections in including them, because you could pick all these high scorers and just not get nowhere close to it. And we've even seen that with some of the whales on the platform. John Nellis here has obviously noticed just from his personal scores, he's got 400 twice, and he's only getting 2 at tier 2s and 3s, and it's why is that happening to him? Ultimately, I think it's because he's picking a lot of the consistent high scorers, but there's no kind of differential in there. He's just doing almost what everyone else is doing, where it's you can see the top scorers, Ajax are good, PSV are good. And then basically what that leads to is a lot of people having similar teams. So to get into it, that's kind of the crux of the issue, right? Everyone has got, similar teams at the top end of this, right? All of the top scorers have scored well. more people are joining the platform with fixed rewards. And yeah, it's basically led to this perfect storm. I will also mention as well, I'm not fully in depth with the knowledge of this, but the reward system isn't paying out as much as it should have. So let's just get into that quickly. So the lowest score to win a reward here in the under 23 limited division was 330 points. That is pretty massive and hard to achieve on like a consistent basis. Keep in mind, the rare Global All-Stars division, you need 250 to get 0.02 ETH, which I think is about £40. So, that really shows the vast difference when basically what you'd be winning in this division is probably £3, £4. That would be a high-end card. Not high-end card, that would be the low-end card, but, a high-end valuation of it. My last one sold for £2, I think it was. So, if we look at the actual divisions, the reward structures, it's about 8% to win a card, 8% probability. It's probably slightly higher because there's going to be a couple of dead teams that got no chance. A couple of people just didn't fancy putting them in training, or no goalkeepers, or the rest of it. So, let's just go on average. They're looking for about a 9% win rate. Is that viable? I think it's reasonable when you consider this. You get twice a week a free entry, and you can play throughout the 52 weeks of the year. It's reasonable, but I do think when you look at under 23s. It's hard to say, but because it's such an expensive division, should it have more awards? Should it have more ETH prizes? Maybe not. I did actually mention on Twitter that the America League this week had an absolute issue. To be only paying out 4% of the Argentinian League coming back, and some really substantial high scorers, it's going to have an issue on the cards. But I won't jump into that here. All I'm saying is the reward system is slightly broken. It should be paying out more than it is already. There's some DMP players, so players that are injured or currently not being selected for their team. They're not in the reward pool. Sorare can actually be given more out, but I don't want to dig too deep into it because there's a lot more people that know a lot more about it than me. But I think I understand the crux of the issue, where it's like, basically, there are more rewards to give out. They're just not giving them out at the moment. The reward system is flawed, and they know it. It's their top priority to fix. But basically, what I wanted to drill down on is why it's such an issue first. Because I basically wanted to put here the scores you would need to hit, that £2, basically, that £3 reward. And what it is you need a 50, 60, 65, 70, 70, and then on the right here, this includes the XP bonuses and a captain bonus on the bottom guy. So, basically that's how you get your 331 score. And I went out to go and build this team, and I was like, I'm going to try and build it as cheap as possible. And I basically ended up where if you wanted to hit this every week, right, you'd need an average performance score. So on those average scores, I got to the point where I gave up. It would be over £3,000. It just didn't make any sense. I needed like the top scorers on the game. So when you can't consistently make that £2 or £3 a week, it's gonna cause issues. It's gonna turn people away from the game. And ultimately, we just want people to be entertained, having fun, improving their football experience. It's not all about money, but a slight win. That £2, £3. They're not thinking, yes, great, I won £4, right? They're thinking, oh, good, I won something. It doesn't have to be a financial prize. It can be graphic art, it can be an NFT, all the rest of it. But it's definitely an issue, and yes, this is an anomaly of a week. Everyone just hit the big scores at the same time, but the bigger picture, it's going to be happening more frequently. It's going to be happening, in more weeks, and slowly, undoubtedly, the average score is going to creep up. And I want to, put forward some suggestions on how I think we can improve it. All right, so the first way to easily improve it is to remove or improve the thresholds, right? So if you don't know, the thresholds are basically these little options here where you score over 250 points in the Global All-Star Rare Division and get, at the moment, £43 or £21, right? This is some people's favourite part on the game, and it's absolutely no wonder, right? They pay out so much more money than you kind of deserve. 250 points, as I've shown in this video, is not substantially hard to get. And then on top of that, it's only in one division. There is such a kind of like bias, or it kind of skews the market where those players that can hit 250 points for the cheapest available rate, they're really kind of overpriced where they should be without them. And basically what I'm saying here is that yes, it's great. Paying out little rewards as kind of like a compensation prize for, look, sorry, you didn't win anything. Here's a little something, better than nothing kind of thing. That's how they should be, right? So let's get them in all of the divisions, okay? Okay, maybe not all divisions, right? Let's say you can't afford to, financially pay out all the divisions. maybe make players select, right? Go and say, right, I'm going to focus on, Champion Europe D5. That's my speciality. I'm going to consistently hit thresholds there, pay me out thresholds there. And look, it's up to Sorare to basically improve the thresholds. This is why I've wanted them gone in Global All-Star for so long. They pay out so much more than they kind of deserve to be paying out. You can basically make your money back in 8 weeks if you were lucky and successful and all the rest of it. Let's take a longer term approach. Let's pay out thresholds across, more divisions, or, select whichever division you want to specialize in and do it that way as a kind of compensation prize. Sorry, you didn't win the top prize, but look, it's better than nothing. You're not playing against players, right, as scores go up. You're playing against a fixed score. And then on top of that, it doesn't have to be cash rewards. It doesn't need to be players. They don't need to be sellable. They can be NFTs, they can be graphics, they can be anything. There's so much more you can do Sorare. So that's the first, easy win, I'd say. Moving on, this just affects the limited league, but a limited pro league helps so much. Why that is that basically a pro division works so well in the rare division because it's this like, all right, so you think your team's good, go put it in the pro division against those kind of more experienced players that also think their team's good for, better prizes, but less of them. So it's like, a boom or bust approach of, right, let's go for it. I'm going to put the big guns in here this week. What this does is take a lot of the best players out of the kind of, I'm not sure what you call it, but just the normal rare division, the kind of regular rare global all-star division. The rare pro all-star division is where all the, big hitters are going to be. Makes it easier for newcomers, and it just kind of, it lowers the point scoring because there's bigger scorers in divisions higher up, which is ultimately what should be happening. And then beyond that, I've kind of expanded it onto another point. So, I've been very vocal about banning stacking, and to be honest, I've spoken to a lot of people about it, and I've not changed my mind, but I've adjusted it to take into consideration, a bigger picture here. And it's like, okay, stacking doesn't work on a really, fantasy football based, strategy game. You just pick 5 players from a good team like Liverpool and you're going to consistently hit rewards. That was my reason for banning stacking. But what the oversight is that you're missing the fun element of it, right? You're missing players go into a game, or people go into games and saying, oh, I just want to support this team a little bit more, I don't really know that much about them. Or a casual player coming in that doesn't want to research through like thousands of players on Sorare data. They just want to pick 5 players and have a bit of fun, try and earn a bit of money, or just improve general football entertainment. That is what this is at the end of the day. So I suggest that we ban stacking in the pro divisions. So pro divisions, that won't affect your casual players. People say stacking is beneficial to low budget users. Go ahead, they can still do that in the kind of regular divisions. But in the pro divisions, this is the people that take it more seriously. This is the people that think they've got a really good shot, right? Get rid of the whole high correlation of, well, your defender and your goalkeeper both get clean sheets, they both get higher scores, right? Let's go out a little bit and think, right, you need 2, separate teams that are going to keep clean sheets now. I really see it as beneficial. You get both sides of the coin, so, of that, stack in the casual division, or that's the regular division, you're going to take out the best player and put them in a rare pro. It makes the leagues a little bit softer for everyone involved, and for the pro players, it makes them think a bit harder. It makes them think, right, I can't just put one team in that I know we're going to, can't just put my full Ajax stack in. I'm going to actually have to think about this and who's basically going to score. So moving on, additional ETH rewards and additional kind of DMP rewards as cards. So what I think this is, in short, is that I think Sorare have been taking too much of the pie recently. It's very, very hard to say. I don't see their costs going out. I don't see how much they pay their staff. I don't know how much these licenses cost. But we've seen the Haaland sell for £600,000. Can you really not push the ETH rewards, a little bit more from what they were 6 months ago, or even a year ago? I think they've stayed static for at least 6 months now. I'm sure there's a little bit of room for movement where it's like, we don't want to, push too soon, but I think we've been patient. I think ETH rewards can be bought in. And then additionally, they mentioned it, 3-4 months ago now, DMP rewards aren't being distributed, right? Everyone, would love a DMP reward more than nothing. So just say, yeah, this player's injured for, a season or whatever, but next season, he might do well. He's better than nothing. That's basically what I think. Easy, to the point. And then finally, the last way I would improve this kind of Sorare getting harder, bigger scores required to win, is division segregation. It is not a massive issue at the moment, but on the crux of it, playing in the top division, playing in the unique division where you need probably minimum 100,000, those players should not be coming in to the very bottom division where, people with a couple £100, 300, 200 quid are just coming in saying, oh, I want to have a bit of fun, see what this is about. It's so hard to do. Where do you draw that line? It's very tough. People don't just want to play in one division. You want that kind of progression upwards. And at the same respect, right, there should be no reason why your Division 1 players should be looking down trying to get, pennies off the floor on a min stakes table, right? They should be looking up. And in that, it's again the reward system that is flawed. They shouldn't even be looking at it. They should be selling off their lower cards. They should be selling off their rare cards, thinking, what do I need these 1 of 100 cards for? They're useless. Let's send everything into, D1 Unique League or D2, rare pro. Yeah, you get the point, right? If the more you segregate the leagues, the better it should be. Or even better, let them enter wherever they want, but, force their hand and say, there's so much money available at the top, or this is where you really want to be competing. This, you should have to put all your assets to focus on this. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So if you like this, please let me know. It's sort of a different form where I'm just coming, saying some of my opinions, speaking about, what I know about the game. Besides that, yeah, please subscribe, like if you did enjoy, and yeah, all the best, G. Cheers.